Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
Hi everyone, Sue here from 1A Auto, and today we have a 2011 Ford Fiesta in the shop, and I'm going to show you how to remove the window regulator. So if you need any parts for your car, click on the link below and head on over to 1aauto.com. Little pocket screwdriver or flat edge screwdriver, and you're going to pop this cover off. Just reach in there and give it a pry, and then we can set that aside. And you can see there's a little screw in there. It's got a Torx bed head to it, and it's a T20. Take that out. Now just pry on this casing, and it'll pop right out. Now you can reveal the actual. This is the mirror adjuster button. So we're going to take that connector off. Down below here, there's a little clip. Push in on the pin. So let's see if I can see it. Maybe I'll get this side first. So here is your little mini speaker. Take that clip, push it on the pin, pull that clip, the connector out. Now we have the actual door handle itself cable. So this handle for the exterior, this is the interior door handle cable, and it releases the latch. So it's basically, it just slides right in. There's no clips, there's no screws. So pull up on the cable end, and it comes right out. So you can see how it goes in. It slides right in like that, and clicks down. To release, pull up, and there you go. So now we can see the actual connector on this side. Take a small screwdriver. Now we're going to remove the window crank handle. It's a manual window. I'm going to use a body tool with this little fork right here. And it's basically just pops off. There's no clip or nothing. So with pressure on this and pressure on the handle, I'm going to snap it right off. You can see how it just has like these little fingers that wrap around the window regulator. And that's it. There's 3 mounting screws, one down here, middle, and then the top. These little covers, just pop them off. And now you can see the mounting screws. So these are a Torx T20 tip. Just take all 3 of them out. Now we're going to get to the main bolt that holds the panel on. And underneath the handle right here is this cover comes right off. Just pry it off. And here we have 2 more Torx head bolts. We've got a T20. Take that handle right out of the way. So with a body tool, I'm going to reach in the back here and just pop this door out. There we go. And you lift it straight up and out of the way. Before removing the hard plastic panel where the regulator is mounted, I'm going to disconnect the harness because it clips on all the way, and that way we can set it aside and not damage the wires. So I'm going to start right here and work my way over. Disconnect the mirror. Now I've got a trim tool. I'm going to push that clip right out, that body style clip, and then work my way around. Remove the speaker wire, push in on this tab. Easier said than done. Now on this sensor, it's got a safety clip, that red thing, push it down, and then you can push in on that tab, pull that connector off. Now we're going to take this rubber boot out of the way. This goes to the electric door locks, which is back there, which I'm going to leave it just like this. And now I can take the panel off, access the connector, and disconnect it and slide it out. 10mm socket, and I'm going to go around the whole panel here and disconnect each bolt and set them aside. Reminding myself that these 3 with the brackets go on the outer door edge. And they do have a guide slot so you can tell which one goes where. Might even stay on the actual panel. You get the last one. Put the window crank on. And you're going to guide, right with these 2 holes, you're going to guide the actual window, the glass bolts, right up with that. You see them right here. Those are 2 10mm bolts, and they hold the glass on the regulator. Break those off. Now you shouldn't have to take the bolts completely out. You just want to loosen them up. And now that glass should be able to pull right out of that regulator. There we go. There we go. Now that's up there, but we want to tape it to guarantee it doesn't fall down. So now you have to manipulate, because the window regulator is mounted to this plastic, and there's a steel part of the door that hangs down, a loop, and it goes in the lip down below. So with that being said, I'm going to slide it towards the interior part, lift the top up, and now I can expose the whole door panel. Take the inner cable off, and now I can get to that latch, pull on the tab, and disconnect it. Now with the door panel off and it's out here to work on, you can take the window regulator completely off. You start from the front of the door panel. You've got 3 mounting bolts for the window regulator. It's a 10mm socket. Take those all the way out. Okay, now we can see it this side. And there's 2 mounting bolts right here, and those are 8mm. Wonderful. Now you can lift up on this in all spots, and there is your window regulator. This will come as one piece. It'll come with all the cables and the slider for the glass and the crank for the window. To reinstall, you're just going to reverse procedure. Put that regulator right through the crank area. And it's got 2 guide pins, one here and one here. That's nice so it doesn't slip around on you. And then the same with the actual window guide. So you've got these 2 dimples that fall right into place there. Now we can reinstall the screws, the glass part of the regulator, the guide. Now this being a manual window, sometimes you don't run into a lot of problems, but for some reason the electric window, I have noticed the cables fray a lot faster. So if you have cables that are fraying, you have to get the whole regulator. They don't sell the cables separately, unfortunately. But it's an easy job to do. There's nothing wrong with this, but before I assemble this, I think I'm going to put some little light grease and oil on there to keep this thing moving smoothly. Now we can flip it over and put the 3 mounting bolts on. Beautiful. So now we're going to put the door panel back on. And we got to remember that we have to slide the electrical connector through and connect it to the door latch and the inner cable. So there's 2 slots on the door panel, top and a lower. The lower one's for the harness, top one's for the cable that goes up here. So I'm going to run this right through. here. And I'm going to take my harness, run it over, put this through the bottom of it. And before I put that whole panel on and everything, I'm going to connect my connector. So it's right here on the bottom. You'll hear it click in. There we go. Now the key to this panel is you want that bottom regulator down in the middle and this top part of the regulator on the right side of that ear. I'm going to put this rubber boot through because you have to get it from the back side. So I can put my hand on the back and pop it up, work it around. There we go. Seat it all the way around. Perfect. Now we get that top one in, bottom one, slide it over. Perfect. Put this bottom boot in. Panel back in, slide it in. We also have this assembly bracket that the keyways, you can see there's 1, 2, and then 3 little keyways down here. They're going to sit in these spots. So on top of everything else you got to do, you got to sing and dance, and also make sure that you get that in the bracket and slide it forward, back that way. We have our 10 mounting bolts. I'm going to line up a couple of the holes and start them by hand. Now I'm going to tighten up my inner door panel, and I'm going to start from the center and work my way out. So I'm going to bottom it out. Make sure it lines up. There's little plastic dimples that they're as guides. I'm going to connect the harness all the way around. It naturally will fall right into place. This is my mirror. Make sure I connect that. That's the wire for the door assembly. This way. Make sure that goes there. Speaker. Now it's time to take the glass off the tape, and we're going to guide that back down into the regulator. I like to use painter's tape because it holds the glass up, but it leaves no glue behind. I remember back in the days of using duct tape, and the job was a half-hour cleaning. So now I'm going to grab the glass with pressure and slide it down, keeping it on the back track here. Get the window crank, slide that on, bring that glass right up to there. Now with a 10mm socket on an extension, I'm going to reach right in there and tighten the regulator on the glass. Once again, this is 2 plastic pieces with a bolt going through it that are squeezing it together like a pair of vise. So we don't need to rank on it. You don't want to crack the glass. But at the same time, if it's too loose, your window will flop back and forth on the track. Okay, let's try it out before you assemble the rest of the panel. Bring it up. Bring it all the way down. Now we're ready to put the panel back on, making sure all my electrical stuff is out of the way. I just gotta make sure I put the cable through the spot. Okay. So there's a lip, put it in the window seal. Make sure it's all the way forward. Make sure that cable is on the top side. That. With all three connectors coming out of the slot, I just have the door panel resting on the window sill just in case it have to come back because I can't get this in correctly. But I have faith. So that slides down right in there like that and then clicks in. Connect our little tweeter speaker. Connect our window controller, mirror control, sorry. There we go. Slide that all back in there. Now I know the panel's pretty much lined up. I'm gonna just push the snaps back in. Yeah, it's nice and tight. I'm going to put my mounting bolt on for this. And there's, out of all the bolts, there's also these two long ones, which are for the handle. But then we have three identical ones, and then the one that's not. So these three go for this door panel, and the one that's not goes in the handle. T20. Line it up, tighten it down. Now I want to make sure my handle works, so I'm going to act like a door latch and lock it with a little pressure on it. I know my handle works. Now I don't have it all bolted down yet because I made sure that my handle works. Now I'm going to make sure that my mirror adjuster works. Other side, yep. So it's all good. Turn the key off and I can tighten it all down. T20, line that right up. Put the tab back. One on the top. Going to install the handle. This is a T25 if I remember correctly. Yep, T25. Top one. This has got that little fancy plastic cover. Okay. It's got three lineups. One at 3 o'clock, 12 and 6. Snap it in. And then the window crank. So the spacer goes like that, with the inverted going that way. Now you know when the window's up, the crank should be right about 2 o'clock. Snap it on.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.